So you see that token is moving on its own. It's nothing to do with the playlist automations. There's nothing in here. I could scroll for days. Nothing. So you want to know how to get this effect right here? Don't worry. It's simple with your senpai. We want to target this bass sound to drop in the EQ, at least in my example. So we're going to go to Filter and go to Fruity Parametric EQ2 here. Next, we want a sound that is going to affect this sound to make it be like, oh, let's drop down, let's drop down. In this case, I'm going to use this kick right here. In the slot, I could do slot 1 here. We're going to go to the MIDI and then find Peak Controller. What Peak Controller does is essentially it reads the signal and it acts as if this is an automation movement. Next thing we want to do, let's go ahead and use token number 2 right here. I want to use this fader right here. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to link to control. All right. And in internal controller, we're going to select the peak control. All right. Let's go ahead and hit accept. Now, if I hit play, you can see something's happening, but it's not set up correctly. So let's go ahead and set it up correctly. Let's say I want this around 3.0 decibels. All right. I'm going to right click, copy the value, and I'm going to go to the bass here, right click and paste. Now, if I hit play again, you can see it stays in that direction. It stays in this position here, especially when we hit stop. Next up, we want to say, hey, do we want the volume to go upwards or downwards when we are going to do this movement, the dynamic movement? Let's say downwards. Just put it down. All right. If you find that you're playing with this volume knob and nothing much is doing, that is because your original kick signal, so let me pull it up in my case, this one right here, is not enough. Let's just lower it down like that. You can see I moved it down, but there's not a lot of movement there. What you would have to do is go ahead and take your kick mixer, put it into another insert right here, and in that empty insert, take it off of the master. All right. And in here, we're going to go ahead and put the peak controller in here. And you know what? I might as well do that just to show you. I'm going to take this Fruity Peak controller. I'm going to copy it over to this empty insert. We're going to call this Ghost Kick, just for this example. Let's delete that. And keep in mind, if you do it this way, you will have to reconnect this peak controller thing. So right click, link to controller. Here we go again, peak, accept. But in the case of if the signal is too low, like that, we are going to have to go ahead and throw a limiter on this Ghost Kick insert. Anything we do here is not going to affect the sound we hear in the end. I'm going to go to Dynamics and go to Fruity Limiter, click, and notice what happens when we raise the gain. See, we're getting more movement, but since my signal was good, I'm just going to go back to how it was. All right, I like the way it dips down there. Yay, you think we're done, but we're not. There's 2 more knobs here we could play with. First is the tension. For the tension knob, if we turn this all the way to the left, you'll see the movement is constricted. It's tense, it's tight. But if we go to the opposite side, it's loose. And look at that, it goes even lower than what we wanted it to be. So play around with this until you find a nice spot. There you go. And for the decay, what we really want to do first is make sure that this line here is not too fuzzy. Otherwise, you'll see something like a rubber banding effect here with this type of fuzzy line. So notice there's not too much fuzzy here. It makes it pretty natural, I guess, in that sense. But after we get it to a signal that doesn't look too fuzzy or too bad, then we want to see if we want to make this timing slower to come up. See how it's coming up quick? Or pretty much normal pace, I guess. Anyways, let's lower it down. There we go. Look at that. Now, if I actually put on the bass, the effect that's getting adjusted, see that fuzzy thing I was telling you about if it's too high on the decay? That sounds cool right there. Cool. So that's the first one right there. But don't leave just yet. Don't flunk out the class because there's 2 more things that you have to see right now. The next example I want to show you is regarding this voice sound right here. Now, it may sound cool to you right now, but listen to what happens when we merge the sound. It's like we don't have anything at all, no voice in there. And I'll play it with the beat on and take a listen. So it's pretty bad in the middle section of the sound. So the next EQ trick I want to show you is going to be the mid-side equalizer using 2 Fruity Parametric EQs. Well, and then there's a secret sauce weapon in there too. So I'm going to go to the slot, go to Patcher, and Patcher again. And here we have pretty much a plugin that we could put different plugins in and route different plugins all in one plugin. And thankfully, FL Studio did make this something easier to achieve with the preset, but it's still something that's pretty low profile. They don't really talk about it that much. This is pretty much 3 plugins here. You have this one right here, the Fruity Stereo Shaper, and then we have 2 Fruity Parametric EQs here. Without confusing your brain too much, this pretty much nullifies the middle section. So we're only hearing the side effect. We're only hearing the side effect of the signal through this thing here, but we could hear the difference, aka the middle, with the send sidechain. So essentially we have the middle sound and then the side sound. So all we could do now is just adjust the sides and the mid to our liking. Here's a tip: hold the Alt button and click, and you'll get to open up both of these plugins at the same time. Otherwise, if you just double click or something, it's going to open one at a time. But yay, now we got a side signal and a mid signal for us to work with our voice. So check out the difference between how it sounds now and when I adjust it. You see how that voice is sticking out now in the middle section? But here's a quick before and after. The difference is immeasurable. I think that sounds cool. That's why I said that. But don't be a dropout. Don't flunk out. There's one more important, very important thing that I have to show you regarding this Fruity Parametric EQ2 that FL Studio just doesn't want to show y'all. The final thing we're going to talk about is this phase rotation thing, as well as the linear mode. So don't leave just yet, just because I showed you how to do it. I got to explain it so you guys can have a better knowledge. So if you don't know what the word phase rotation is, here's a quick demonstration of it. Look at this waveform here. It's more annoying than my voice, isn't it? But I'm going to go ahead and move this around, and you're going to take a look at that waveform and see how it changes the sound. So interesting enough, this signal sounds just about the same, minus some vibration pressures. If you could hear that, then let me know in the comment section down below. That means you have a good ear. But if you don't hear the difference in the pressures, it's pretty okay. I heard it's not really normal with a lot of people. What matters most is that signal waveform. This phase rotation can be quite an issue, and I'll show you right now in the bigger demonstration. This over here has the linear phase mode activated, and this one does not. That is why we see this curve right here called phase rotation. You could just click this option and visualize the phase rotation. But look, as when I press the linear mode, there is no phase rotation. That's because there is no phase rotation. But look at the difference between these two plugins as I sweep through the frequencies in the waveform. And let me cut that volume off, right? So why do we not want to have these peaks right here where the phase rotation adjusts the wave signal vibrations just to make it sound the same or similar? First and foremost, let me just say this. This section right here with the phase rotation activated, this is how it always been, especially with analog consoles back in the day and even now. There's nothing wrong about it. But in the sense of audio mastering, it could be quite a difference. This right here could be a lot of headroom that's fixed if you fix the phase rotation right here. Matter of fact, let's see. About 4 decibels, about 3.5 decibels worth of headroom can be fixed when you master your sound using the linear phase EQ. Just know that the linear phase mode does add a little bit of pre-delay to the play button. When you hit play, it just waits for a fraction of a second, just so that it could process the samples ahead of time, so we do not have this phase cancellation. Now, linear phase mode is perfect for mastering, of course, because like I just said with the headroom, but more importantly, when you want to only adjust a certain frequency, you have the perfect precision to do so using linear mode because, again, of those phase vibrations. If you think these 3 EQ tricks are the only thing that FL Studio kept on the down low from us, then trust me when I say that we only scratched the surface. Click on this video to see what else FL Studio likes to hide from us.